Not now, but he did make it into the workshop.
All right. Ready to go? Call to order the Town of Fraser Board Meeting Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Katie Fisher,
Peggy Smith,
Julie White,
Katie Souls,
Louis Gregory.
Brian Sirkvenik and Adam should be joining momentarily. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
so moved.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from January 21st, 2026?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We'll move on to open forum. This is for business not on the agenda. If you'd like to approach the town board, feel free to raise your hand online or come to the podium. Seeing none, we will move on to discussion and possible action regarding purchase of crescendo sculpture at the historic church.
Mayor Sirkvenik, trustees, I'm Sarah Wick, Marketing and Communications Manager, and also the staff liaison for the Public Arts Committee, which is why I'm here. So the PAC is making a recommendation to buy the crescendo sculpture, which is at the church. Antoinette, can you pull up the picture real quick? Just a little background on the sculpture and the price, the $10,000 price. So the actual price of the sculpture before we leased it is $15,000. We leased it for 3 years, which made it $12,000. The artist, when the lease came up, asked if we were interested in purchasing it. The PAC was, and then we offered the artist $10,000, and he was okay with that price. So that is where we are right now.
Sharing the wrong screen.
What was the statue that was there before? I can't remember what it was.
I feel like it was I feel like it was a piece, it was also a piece of wood, and it kind of like went like this, and in between, like in that, like in
had little
between it
words.
had like faces
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
on it. That's what was there before.
Okay.
Is it cheaper? But the PAC spend their money on this, or?
Yeah, there is money in the budget for this too.
So
Art and public
how is it
places.
holding up over
Yeah.
with the elements?
Wood.
You know, you would think that because it was wood, it would be, destroyed, but I don't know what the artist uses to treat it, but it still looks in great it's in great condition still.
Yeah, and Sarah, it might be worth noting that he deliberately chooses exotic woods that are extremely durable, sort of like the way teak stands up to the sun.
So I guess I just thought that purpose of that area was to rotate through stuff. So is this going to stay at the Fraser Church or?
It would stay there.
Okay, so we're not going to rotate through new art.
It was one of our leased pieces and that we would be buying it.
So should we just keep leasing cool things, or do they think about that? They don't want to lease it and rotate anymore. They'd rather have a permanent. They really like this one, or?
There are a couple other leased sculptures that they are gonna replace, like the fish that's over by the bike park. It's like a big metal
Yeah.
fish. They're gonna replace that one. That was one of the leased ones that they decided to swap out.
I guess I was just looking forward to looking at something else.
Your
Right,
personal
these
spot,
windows.
sister.
Yeah. They have new over there. I don't know. I mean,
It's ultimately up to them. It's their money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Steve, is there a possibility of rotating some of the art pieces between the leased ones and the one that we own?
Absolutely. Not only continuing to do the lease program, which I do think, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the whole PAC, but I do think that the PAC would wish to continue to do. But also there's the possibility of just because we purchased this sculpture doesn't necessarily mean it has to remain in that location forever. We could always move it, which I kind of like, so that there is some refreshing of that location and we still have that sculpture elsewhere.
And we can also find other locations for other leased sculptures too. So, yeah, we can, in theory, put them wherever we want.
Okay.
It's a cool sculpture.
Yeah, it's unique. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have it in the budget, I'm fine with it, I guess. Seems expensive, but I don't know anything about art, and so
It's cheap.
Did I see
Is it-
somewhere that they're actually getting a credit for their lease payments over the last 2, 3 years?
yeah, so the price of the sculpture is $15,000, and then we leased it for 3 years, which made it 12,000. And then the pack actually offered the artist 10,000, and he accepted that price.
Gotcha. So saving $2,000, but it's not $7,000.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I worded that weird in the memo. That's why Katie Souls asked me about that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, I'm not an art
Right.
person, but I'm more concerned about Eisenhower's fishing pole.
I
He's
couldn't hear
getting-
you,
he's
Katie.
getting
Can you
fixed.
take your mic closer?
Oh, sorry.
Missy.
So I'm just more concerned about Eisenhower's fishing pole.
He's getting
getting
fixed, and
fixed.
yeah, he's getting fixed, and he'll probably be done in April.
Perfect. Let's
Okay, awesome.
yeah,
go for it.
sweet.
Great. All right, do you need a motion to approve this or?
I think we do, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of crescendo sculpture at the historic church. I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Don't forget about Fire and Ice, February 14th.
Thanks, thank you, Steve, Sarah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, East Grand School District overview and update. Brad Ray
Nice.
and Mark Rydberg.
Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. We just want to give you an update of what's happening at school. We want to do a better job getting out, explaining to people what our focus is, what we're doing. And now that construction's done, we have time to breathe and can actually do that. So while back, this is my 4th year as the superintendent, there was a lack of having some focus for the future, just to be honest. So we, through the Colorado Education Initiative, worked on a strategic plan for the district that is a 5-year strategic plan that has a lot of lofty goals in it. And Courtney's going to come up here and update you a little bit on what we've been able to accomplish. It was co-created by people throughout the community. We had about 50 people who showed up for the first meetings. We spent a ton of hours throughout the process trying to get it done. And then a lot of time figuring out what were those goals and how are we going to measure them and report them out. So Courtney will update you.
All right.
All right, ready to pass that.
Able to put the slideshow up. Awesome. So I'm Courtney Lincoln. I'm the assistant superintendent for East Grand, and I have worked with the district since 2008. I left for 4 years, and then I just started back in this role this year. So when I came on board, one of the charges was to work on moving the strategic plan forward. Can you advance, or is there a clicker? Perfect. Oh, look at that. Great. So Brad spoke a little bit about how it came to be. I was not in the district during the time when it was created. But there was a whole lot of community input, parent, teacher support that created it. So I'm going to do just kind of a brief overview and then talk about the work that we've been doing this year. So updated mission and vision for East Grand, and I'll let you guys read it just so that you're aware. And let me know if I'm going too quickly. And then the plan called out some community values that we focus on, and this was all from feedback from those initial sessions. So grand balance, grand connection, grand focus, and grand commitment. From there, we developed a graduate profile. So in East Grand, we are working to have all of our graduates be lifelong learners, adaptable individuals, critical thinkers, creative innovators, effective communicators, engaged collaborators, and responsible citizens. So those are kind of some of the big pieces of the plan, but the largest piece and the part that we are really trying to make forward motion on this year are around the goals that Brad talked about. And they are some pretty lofty goals, but they are good goals for us to focus our work on. So the strategic plan has three main strategic priorities. There's the student success priority, there's the sustain and develop staff priority, and then there's the community and family partnerships. And then each of those priorities has anywhere from 2 to 3 specific goals under it, so subsets. Our strategic plan advisory council, we call it the SPAC, is what's working on these strategic priorities to move them forward. So the SPAC meets the second Monday of every month, and they have taken each of those goals and made a 1-year goal. And then we've divided the goals out into what we call 3 sprints. So every 3 months, we have a measure that we're trying to meet. And then the goal would be at the end of the year, we've made progress on the 1-year goal, and then we'll plan for what it looks like next year. So right now we're in year 2 of the strategic plan and moving it forward. And the SPAC started last year. And then we have continued it this year and grown the involvement. And so I bring that up because we welcome parents and community members to come join us. If anybody's interested, I can add you guys to the invite. It would be great to have feedback. But everybody works on a task force to move one of these priorities forward. I'm not advancing. So we meet the second Monday of every month. If you're interested, let me know and I will add you. But really what I wanted to get to was if you scan that QR code, it'll take us take you guys to our website. And we just pushed out this snapshot report. And so this is the first report of our progress that we have put out related to the strategic plan. And our goal is to do it twice a year. So within this snapshot report, each one of those strategic priority goals has 3 data points. And so there's a data point about where we're meeting that goal or really being successful. We have a data point around where we're making progress. And then we have a data point on something that we are focused on or moving to next. And there's a little bit of information describing all of it. And so this got pushed out last week to all of our parents and our teachers, and we're just trying to share the news about it. So I'm open to questions. Really, I would recommend if you're interested in learning more, click on the QR code and open up the PDF on our website so that you can see it, and feel free to share it.
I'm curious about student counts in general in the district. Just with cost of living and all that, are we starting to lose our student base?
Yeah, we're getting smaller. I think we're down. Well, there's a couple ways to look at it. So I keep an eye on where are we in May when we finish school and what shows up in October. Now CDE keeps track of that from October 1st to October 1st and says, where are we? And I would say last year we were up 11. And then right at the end of the school year, we were right back to where we started. So it ebbs and flows throughout the course. I would say we have one building that has a decent bit of mobility, students that move out and new ones move in, a lot more than others. But this year we were currently down 88 students, and we have dug into why. We have folks who are choosing online options now. We have like students who want to competitively mountain bike. It's really hard for them to do that while they're in school. And so we have people who choose different options. We're looking at maybe creating our own online platform that we host. And I'm old school, like I'm old, and I'm a teacher and my family's teachers. I still think coming to school in brick and mortar is the best way to do it. But there is different lifestyles and different things people want to do. So we're trying to figure out what's the best avenue.
Okay.
And I think if you get to the demographic study, that'll explain some of it too.
And one of the things in the back of my mind is one of our hopes is someday that we have a K through 12 school
Yeah.
here at this end of the valley. So
Can I blend this into the next
Yeah,
topic?
go for it.
Yeah, so when we talk about fee in lieu of land, which you are not allowed to call impact fee, or the attorney gives me a dirty look when I say that. But basically, it's like when a subdivision's built, and I have no idea how much background y'all have on my 3.5 year journey through this. Basically, it's like, okay, how many students are going to be created for us based on what you're developing? And when I got here, it was done very differently in different towns, and the county did it one way, Granby did it a different way. It was very, and I asked, why do we do it this way? And I was told that's what we always have done. And I really don't like that answer sometimes because it makes it a pattern. It doesn't make it good practice. And so started digging into, and then, people in a subdivision who was developing something would come into me and say, well, I don't want to pay these fees. Can you reduce them? And I'm like, I was a teacher. So it was very hard to keep track in our office with our size. And so started meeting with all the town managers at the time, and just said, can we come up with a cohesive way that we do this uniformly, and in a process that makes sense? So like one municipality had us collect the fee. I think you guys collected the fee, and imposed the fee. So it was just different. And even the calculations of how it was done was different. So we commissioned a demography study to say, what is the true impact of what's being developed and what are we really seeing from it? And if you go through that study, you'll find out that actually modular units or trailer parks are creating more students for us than subdivision of single family houses. And so we now have in that demographic study something that says this is what we're basing these fees on, and it's been researched to say this is what's happening. Now, in conversations with the board, I'm really getting to this point, I promise.
No, that's good. No, this is good.
In conversations with the board, it was like, yes, but the landscape in Grant County is changing pretty fast. And it's like, what's it going to look like in X amount of time? And so we are currently passing a policy that says we will do this study every 4 years to see what is the impact, what is changing, and not just keep this for 20 years like it was maybe done before. So that will give you a good idea of what that growing looks like. And I would love to have a piece of land here for a future school without blinking. It's just we have to be able to populate it.
Right.
And the demographic study every 4 years will be put public and come back here every 4 years and talk about here's where it is, here's what's moving in, here's what it looks like. That was a very long answer. I
No,
apologize.
no, that's good.
And I'm sure I can hear their eyes rolling right now because I'm still talking, but that's okay.
Okay.
You mentioned you're down 88 students. Is that right? Is that K through 12 or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
And honestly, some of it was expected. I expected to be down some because in a district our size, if you have a senior class that leaves and a kindergarten class that comes in, that was going to be 27. Just based on what our new average class size is that we looked at. And we were saying the new class was about 80, and it used to be about 111. So you can kind of see big senior class graduates, small kindergarten class comes in. Right now, we do have one grade level that I always call bubbles. We got one that's small and we got one that's really big. And so you just kind of keep an eye and have to deal as they go through the K-12 system.
I think 06 was really, or the year they report, I think this last year's graduating class was really big.
It was a big class.
That was my son's class. So
Yes.
I remember they always had to add an extra teacher throughout the years and stuff like that.
It was a
really
big
big
class, and our kindergarten class came in about where we expected it to
Yeah.
be. And others, we have people with bona fide moves, right? I say there's people who have made money on their house and they want to cash it in. And
Right.
so they moved to Nebraska.
Mhm.
It's just kind of what it is for some of it. Some of it is it's school of choice in Colorado, and we need to make ours better. I have no doubt about it. Like that's something we should work on every day, to make sure we are something people choose.
I have a very specific question, but the second grade in Fraser Valley Elementary is very small. Are you seeing that across all of East Grand or is that just Fraser?
That's a bubble in Fraser.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How many kids are in it? Just curious.
21.
The whole class?
Yes. And you got to realize in a system, as kids move through that, if you have 3 teachers, it's like we don't get rid of one.
Right.
It's kind of like how do you staff? And it's kind of hard to predict, but I do think long term, this study is going to give us a pretty good idea of how it's developing across the county and our district.
Good.
So in this process, the IGA is the last step. That's in front of you tonight, and Keith Reisberg volunteered to go first, and I think it's because he knew he was leaving. And so our attorney and their attorney worked out the MOU you have in front of you that covers basically everything we've talked about for 3.5 years. And we've given it to our attorney to put it into language that affects your town.
Got it.
It's definitely way overdue. And it
Yeah.
seems really consistent and people can plan for it.
So is there a trigger, like a number of acres or something that throws you into the,
Yeah.
we want land, not money?
Yes. I mean, it's the transaction.
Mhm.
Typically, I mean, if you're going to incorporate some land someday and it's going to be, headed towards Tabernash, we'll gladly take some of that in terms of, and if you go through that study that's attached, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but there is a definite number of acres per school site.
That's, we missed the window the last time.
Mhm. Okay. Any questions before we officially move to the next topic, which is the IGA? No? Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I'm sure we'll have more questions for you in the next spot. Garrett, are you kind of presenting on the floor?
Yes, I'll kick us off and then Michael can join in and certainly staff from East Grand can jump in if needed. Garrett Scott, town planner. So don't have a formal presentation, just wanted to talk briefly through the staff memo that was prepared. So as Superintendent Ray mentioned, the school district prepared a new nexus study or kind of land dedication / fee in lieu study. Staff presented this to the board back in August of last year, if you remember. At the time, no action was taken to update the town's development procedures as it relates to school land dedication or fee in lieu. But now at the point that we are at today with this new IGA that better formalizes the process and makes it consistent between the county and the municipalities within East Grand. We are now at the point where if that IGA is approved tonight, then we would start implementing this new methodology for school land dedication or fee in lieu. So essentially, there will be just an extra step for staff to amend our land development code to reflect that study. It's anticipated that every 4 years when that study is revisited and modified, we would make conforming changes to our land development code to reflect that study. And really the purpose of that is just because, our land development code, it is the kind of public reference for landowners, developers, et cetera, to understand our regulations, of which include this school land dedication or fee in lieu requirement. So just for the sake of having that information readily available, and instead of having developers hunt down that study or ask staff for it, that's why we want to update our land development code. So that will start with the planning commission first, and then we'll come back to the board for final adoption. Just follow the procedure as all our other land development code amendments take. So any questions with that piece of it?
I'm sure it's in here, but as I'm looking at the summary of proposed fee in lieu, that just a little chart. So is that per unit?
It
Those
is.
fees per unit. Okay.
Yes. I'll go ahead and just share my
Makes
screen
sense. And
here.
it probably says it somewhere, but it's just not
It does.
right up front and center. And I didn't read it closely enough.
So effectively, this table here is what will be adopted in the town code. This is wholly consistent with the study that East Grand produced. So these would be the either acreage amounts or what will likely be more common, the fee that is paid per residential unit as broken down based on the type of residential unit.
So there was never any, this is all new, right? Because I don't remember.
Sure, I can at least speak to my understanding in Fraser. Our current regulations date from 1998 and a study that was conducted by East Grand at that time. I do believe there have been subsequent studies that the town
Yep.
had not adopted,
The
but
methodology goes back further.
Sure.
It goes back to the 80s, we discovered. And so basically it was saying they were going to start the calculation of what the impact would be at $20,000 an acre. And it was raw land, not engineered land.
Mm-hmm.
And so this kind of updates it. I think us and one other district in the state were still doing it that way. So we just updated it to where now it's engineered land and it's based on what is actually being produced based upon what is getting developed. So it's always been there. It's just been,
It's just, yeah, because
it was a little antiquated.
I thought I heard that we had collected this fee and I thought, well, I don't know, I've pulled a bunch of building permits and I never paid this fee, so. Yeah, so, good, I think we need to have this.
But this is lower than it used to be, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
it truly represents what the impact is.
Right, right. I'm just, if we are hoping to dedicate land in the future, that land is just going to be more expensive. So is that factored in? The cost of,
But if a developer wanted to donate land, they don't have to pay a fee.
got it, but,
Because you're paying a fee in lieu of the land that would be there for.
right, but does the fee in lieu match what an acre of land costs or whatever?
Depends.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna cost different in Kremling than it does here. I'm just wondering if that's, can that be factored in? Because everybody's for lowering taxes and fees, but we're already kind of paying it. So if the goal is to eventually put a, 6 through 12 in this area, shouldn't we be basing it off of what the forecasted prices of this area will be in 10 years, 5 years?
Well, yeah, to make it more lucrative for that developer to donate the land, right? Instead of pay the fee.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I'm thinking of fee in lieu, whatever that equates to. Can that buy an acre or 30 acres of land in, when you add it all together?
I mean, honestly, the school district's gonna have to bond someday to do that. There's really no way around it.
Mhm.
So this represents the statute of what we're allowed to collect and why we're allowed to collect it. And so for us, the demographic study and that number is defensible when developers want to say we are doing it wrong. We now can say, no, we're doing it based upon what this study says it is. So we needed that.
So you're saying we can't change the amount? Okay,
We can't change the amount.
but we can.
You guys can do what you want as long as your attorney says it's okay. Um, I just
Good
know
qualifier.
ours said, we have to base it based upon what is the impact we're seeing from students based upon what the development is. And this represents that.
Okay.
If you want to do something else for us, we'll gladly let you.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
everybody, can I
basically
jump in
leaving
here?
it to the town to say, we're negotiating with a developer and he's bringing in 250 acres. And he might say, oh, let me get my checkbook out and I just want to do that fee in lieu. And we have to be the ones that say, no, we want the land.
No, that would be,
Or this,
I think in an agreement, that could be a three-way conversation.
Mhm.
I think, so my time in the Roaring Fork Valley, people with subdivisions would come in and say, we want a school here. They became really good stewards of the community by saying, yes, in this neighborhood, we think a school would make it more attractive of what we want to do. And there was always like an elementary school site based in every subdivision that was coming in. That was done differently than it's done here. So I don't think it's up to you. I think it's up to the whoever the developer is to say, yeah, I think it's a good conversation that y'all could be a part of. but it really.
Better developers in Aspen, I think.
What's that?
They must have had better developers.
Honestly, it was somewhat of an expectation, and it depended on the size of the development. So if you have a very large one coming, it's really a good conversation to say, we'd like to have 30 acres.
Mhm.
And here's how it's going to benefit what you're building.
And how many acres do you need for a secondary middle?
Yeah.
35?
30 is kind of the minimum, right?
Yes.
You'd prefer like 40.
45 is ideal,
Okay.
especially with athletic fields
Okay.
and those kind of things. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I can tell you, Glenwood Springs High School was built on nothing. But it was a whole different reason, and I don't want to get into that because I just finally got over it. But it depends on the design and what you want, but ideally 40, 45.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Garrett, anything else regarding the IGA?
I don't have anything. I think Michael was going to speak to maybe some of the specific terms of the IGA.
Everybody, can you hear me all right?
Hey, Michael.
Hey, all, this is Michael Brack, Fraser Town Manager. Sorry I can't be there tonight. Just going through what this newer IGA does look like. It is very well written. I'm glad that Mr. Ray was open to letting the town of Winter Park draft this initial IGA. It just kind of buttoned up a lot of the key concerns from the municipality's standpoint. But just looking between the 2026 IGA and the previous IGA, which is from 2006, we're 20 years here, coming up for an update. So, the impact fee structure is way more defined. It's legally defensible. Some of the discussions about could we take a larger fee? I know that's the reason that we didn't adopt these fees the last time that this came to the board, but we have worked with our attorneys and we've done the research on this just to understand that it does have to be legally defensible, just like any impact fee that you impose, which is that impact fee study that East Grand School District has completed and is in the packet for this item. Additionally, just it's great that they're able to actually formulate, review development applications as they come through for the correct fee that's appropriate for that development, and actually collecting that fee versus what Brad had mentioned before. The town had collected that fee, had to formulate that fee, had to come up with a value per acre that was kind of loosely defined. So we really appreciate the collaboration with the East Grand School District to bring this IGA forward with these newer impact fees. So those are really the main things. There's also a part of this that provides for financial transparency with the school district. Part of this IGA, it does require separate accounting, annual reporting, and audits, and refunds if funds are not used within 20 years. So there will be a lot more financial transparency, which I think is great. Brad's been at the helm of that, which has been fantastic. And all around, this is just a very good IGA. We don't see any concerns with it. As Garrett mentioned, we will do some code amendments that will go through the planning commission process and then to the board for final approval, just to accommodate this IGA and that formulation of impact fees. In the past, we have plowed like the elementary school here. And we are no longer doing that. And we've kind of separated out some of the other responsibilities and gone more independent, both with the school district and with the town, which I think just makes sense. Given when we actually do have snow, plowing snow is definitely one of our biggest priorities, and being able to get to that sooner than later is great for all the residents of Fraser. To that point, I think those are really the main highlights and differences between the older IGA and this new IGA. Again, very thoughtfully crafted, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Michael's been a great partner through this whole thing. What that's worth. He's a good guy. It's been great to work with.
Right.
Good to hear. All right, any questions for anyone?
No.
Lewis.
Yeah, I just wondering who is subject to these impact fees? Is it any new development? Is a Rendezvous and Grand Park subject to these impact fees when a new subdivision has come online or new houses are built?
Lewis, I can answer that. It's Garrett. It's part of the 2003 Rendezvous Annexation Agreement. They prepaid their fee in lieu of land for a school site. So all properties that, are subdivided or developed in Rendezvous or Grand Park do not need to pay these fees.
Okay, so it's any new development that comes online or any new houses or apartments or whatever that are built, those subject to these fees?
Yes, so long as they are not within Rendezvous or Grand Park, given that as part of that annexation, they prepaid those fees, but elsewhere in the town of Fraser and certainly any future potential areas that are annexed into the town would fall under these regulations unless similarly to Rendezvous and Grand Park, unless some other arrangement was agreed to at time of annexation. But recent developments within our standard zone districts, such as Kozlik on Main, the Strom Townhomes, they have paid these fee in lieu for school sites as part of their development approval.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Just one last note, with the discussion about annexation, the way that valuation appreciates and everything else, that's why we're really focused on collaborating with the East Grand School District on a land dedication that will increase with value in time versus an impact fee that may seem like a decent amount now, but 20 years from now, 30 years from now, it's extremely, nominal amounts that can't really support new facilities. So just given that, looking into the future and potential annexation in the future, that's just something we want to continue to promote.
Any other questions?
This is a can of worms, but what about our new housing development that the town of Fraser is building? Going to have impacts. Are we subject to that as a municipality? And we kind of should pay in because they need it, but sorry, I throw that in, but
Pretty sure we're paying those impact
Yeah.
fees.
Yes, we've paid those impact fees, Katie.
okay, great. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve the impact.
Is your mic on, Peggy?
Yes, it's just
Um,
the intergovernmental agreement.
intergovernmental agreement concerning land dedication for payments in lieu of school for school purposes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Thanks. Thanks,
Okay.
guys. Yeah, appreciate your time and everything.
Good work.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Fraser Valley Arts update. Steve Fitzgerald.
Great. Thank you, Brian. For those of you who I haven't yet met, I'm Steve Fitzgerald. I run the Fraser Valley Arts, which is the 501c3 that was set up at the request of the town in 2021 to fund, build, and operate the future Fraser Center for the Arts. I'm here to do two things here in a very brief time, give you an update as to where we are in that effort. And then secondly, talk a little bit about a project we have coming that will require your approval in 2 weeks. And then Lori will take us through a memorandum of understanding proposal that I'll allude to in a minute. There's nothing to be decided in my portion, but there will be in Lori's. So let me just first of all give you some background as to where we came from in 2025. When I was here a year ago, I talked a little bit about some events we were introducing. We did manage to introduce a full calendar year of events, most of which are in the town of Fraser. Things like National Theater Live complemented the things we have done in the past. And all of those events are designed to help us drive the fundraising that we do to achieve the center. We raised over $500,000 in 2025 and ended the year with about $3.3 million dedicated towards the center. That includes the value of the land. Events, however, also drive economic development, as most of you are aware. People who attend arts performances spend money, on average about $50 beyond the ticket for their show or event that they show up to. And we estimate the impact of the center to be worth about $2 million per year, aside from the revenue that the center will incur. So that's very exciting for us, as is the fact that our Founders Circle, which are individuals in our community or foundations and organizations who have committed at least $30,000, has grown to 22 of the 25 slots available, including one Fraser resident who is matching every donation up to $1 million. And we are in the final stages of completing a second donor who will be contributing $500,000 that is not yet included in our $3.3 million of assets. So we're making a lot of progress. In 2026, we're going to start with a bang, as I said. When I finally have everything buttoned down, I will announce the $500,000 contribution. So look forward to that soon. We're currently running National Theater Live at the Foundry. We're expecting probably 50 to 60 people on Friday for Life of Pi if you're looking for something to do. And then we will continue this year with Dr. Strangelove as part of National Theater Live, which, if folks aren't familiar, these are live plays filmed on the West End in London. We have winter plein air this year, where we're going to be having our stable of painters who jury in, who are going to be painting winter scenes, and we'll be hosting a reception in March. We'll also be hosting in March a event focused on women, which I'm really excited about because it will be not only an opportunity to share some really cool quote unquote goddess banners from the collection at Northern Colorado University, but we're also doing a local production of the Vagina Monologues at the Old Church on 2 nights in March. And it will be our first, what I hope to be many, many opportunities to get local residents involved in producing art events. And then we go through our typical schedule with the Alpine Art Affair in June, the Fraser Mountain Mural Festival, where we collaborate with the town in August, September plein air, and that's typically our major fundraiser. Why do I tell you all that? Because it will likely lead us to a position that is pretty exciting. I expect to end this year with over $4 million in committed assets. We're going to be applying for the Colorado Creative Industries Tax Credit Program, which is up to a $3 million opportunity. And I'm not ever going to say I'm confident that we're going to get a grant, but man, the criteria match our community's challenge, both with regard to the Arts Center, but also how it ties into economic development. And if we were to secure, say, $2.5 million from that tax credit program at the state level, that coupled with our organic fundraising would put us in a very likely position that we would start designing a building and breaking ground as soon as next year. Maybe more realistically the spring after, but it would be imminent, which of course is something that we're all excited about that. We're still looking for naming sponsors, and that could accelerate it even further. So how can you help? There's really several ways. First of all, the financial support now and in the past from the town has been deeply appreciated. It's been our catalyst. Our partnership with the town on things like Fraser Mountain Mural Festival really raises the visibility and helps our fundraising. Secondly, there's going to be a discussion here in a little bit about a memorandum of understanding that would allow us, we're about to hire our first full-time employee, a director. And it's very hard when you only have one or two employees to be able to offer good healthcare and other benefits. And so I've modeled a MOU after what the town of Winter Park does with the Housing Authority, where they become the payroll and benefits provider for that small staff, which is what we're asking Fraser to do, and Lori will take you through that, while we still remain the employer and have all the responsibilities in that regard. So that's one way you can help us achieve the mission. Secondly, we do have a proposal in for a business enhancement grant, which the committee doing that has met on, and you will see their recommendations in 2 weeks. The reason I bring that up early, though, is our request is we have an agreement with the owner of the post office property, and she's willing to let us change the dilapidated Hilly Hooker sign into a electronic event sign. On that sign would be able to promote events that are happening in town for Fraser Valley Arts, and with the grant would be perfectly happy to include town events. So things like the Mural Festival, Fire and Ice, etc. Um, the advantage of that, of course, is 14,000 people a day drive past that site, and it is, an incredibly powerful way of getting the word out as to what's happening in Fraser. The reason I bring that up to you is it is technically off our premise because it would be at the post office and not on the center site. And as an off-premise sign, you will be asked to formally approve that because apparently that's part of the town code. We'll get into that next week, but I just wanted to call that to your attention. So before we move to the payroll and benefits MOU question or issue, I just thought I'd pause here and see if you have any questions about our progress today.
Steve, remind me of the goal for that you guys are looking for to start building.
Yeah, it's about 10 million bucks. And the reason I say about is we have refrained from doing final construction drawings because we will size the building to that money. And I want to make sure that part of the initial assets that we have are inclusive of enough of a slush fund or an endowment to continue the staffing and the needs of the center once it's operating. So the way it would work is I'll close this year with about 4 million bucks. We're hoping to get the tax credit thing. Say we get 2.5. And we also have another team working on a bond issuance that would be the remainder. And we're pretty confident that we can structure that so that it's attractive. So those three things in combination could get us there. And if we are to secure some additional major donors, which we're increasingly getting some real traction with, that could accelerate it even further.
So wasn't the original price about 20 million?
It was a very different building, and it was a very expensive building.
Yeah. So you're scaling it back to about 10 is what your kind of your goal.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody actually ever priced out that building.
Last one.
Honestly, if you look at those old designs, it had architecturally challenging things like an entry in the round, an enormous amount of glass, things of that nature.
So, Steve, why is now the time to hire someone?
Yeah, well, for several reasons. One, we've done all of this on the backs of volunteers, myself included. Other than last year, we finally started paying someone whom you all know on a part-time basis to run events. And we've gone from no assets and no events to a full calendar year of events and a significant amount of money, a significant amount of fundraising. We're working on bond issuances. We're dealing with the state government. et cetera, et cetera. And so we need someone whose job it is to do this. Two, I'm really tired. um, and I will tell you, I spend 10 to 20, sometimes 30 hours a week on this effort. And I've been privileged to do so, but at the same time, it's time to pass that baton. And three, we have gaps. I've recruited a very capable board, but for instance, we don't really have anybody who has run an art center, who has done the programming, has signed deals with agents, has reached out to the artistic community to bring in comedians, plays, etc. And one of the things we're hoping to achieve with doing the director now is someone who fills that gap because we're on the cusp of it. Fourth, we're about to build a building, and that's real work. That's going to take somebody who is, at work every day doing something, not somebody who's calling into town meetings from Casper, Wyoming, because they're on a trip.
A lot.
Yep.
And I know I sure appreciate all that you have done. Philip put you on the line and you have risen to the occasion, and it's really pretty remarkable how far that everything's come. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a joy. It's been a learning experience for me. I have no intention of not being involved in the future, just in a, more of a run the board capacity and really dedicate a lot more of my efforts to the fundraising thing so we can get this across the line. And I will say, if anyone knows of folks who may be interested, we've got the job posted on FraserValleyArts.org. It is a healthy wage up to six figures because we're adamant about providing a living wage and a great experience for people. And it will be the first of a full staff of folks. And like always, we'd love to find high quality talent from our community first.
Great. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, Steve.
You bet.
You're sticking around for the next part here.
Yeah.
All right. Fraser Valley Arts Memorandum of Understanding for Payroll and Healthcare Coverage. Lori.
They're used to giving me something so I can give you
Hard to
bad
hear you.
news or good news or news. Anyway, good evening, Mayor and trustees. Lori Waters, Finance Director for the town of Fraser. The matter brought before the board is discussion and possible motion to move forward with a memorandum of understanding for providing and paying for employment benefits of an executive director and up to 2 additional staff of Fraser Valley Arts. Fraser Valley Arts was formed at the request of the town of Fraser in 2021 to fund, build, and operate the Fraser Center of Creative Arts. Fraser Valley Arts is a 501c3 nonprofit established to support and grow culture throughout the Fraser Valley. For consideration, the Fraser Valley Arts is in the early stages of reaching their goal and currently lacks administrative services such as human resources and employee benefits to attract and incentivize top quality applicants. With help from the town of Fraser, Fraser Valley Arts will be able to hire, employ, and provide benefits. This will also help the FVA to retain quality candidates while continuing the mission that they are dedicated to achieving. Subject to the terms of the MOU, Fraser Valley Arts will reimburse the town of Fraser for staff salary and benefits up to such a time that Fraser Valley Arts exceeds 3 employees. So, recommendation from town staff is that we recommend that the Board of Trustees discuss and evaluate the MOU with the Fraser Valley Arts. The services from the town will be reimbursed, and the benefits to the Fraser Valley Arts will enable the necessary growth toward the completion and benefits of creation of the Fraser Valley Center for the Creative Arts. And any questions?
I'm correct in thinking that the more employees the town has under their benefits umbrella, the better benefits everyone can get, right?
We'd have to kind of really jump up by maybe 15 to 20 to be seeing impacts like that. But this benefit of being able to offer the health insurance and just the services of not needing to hire, say, an accounting firm to do their payroll, even though they're gonna reimburse us, we're set up to basically handle this. No, I don't see any great big benefit that we're gonna leap up in our health insurance pools. Though, you know, we're little fish in that big pond, but we're pretty lucky to be in that big pond. So we're able to, you know, offer this. We already, you know, technically you already do this for the JFOC. So this is no big surprise or heavy lift on the part of Becky and I, as far as, you know, we bring them in, set them up, knock out the payroll. I've already had a meeting and discussion with Steve about, you know, we don't take kindly to chasing anybody down to get their hours from them. I have also learned in my history that, you know, sometimes it only takes once when they go, I didn't get paid my full hours, and you go, see you next payroll. So that usually takes care of itself pretty quickly. So this is not, like I said, I think this would be a big benefit to help Fraser Valley Arts get going, get off the ground. As far as like any kind of, we've run this by the town attorneys. They're like, yep, pretty standard, not a big deal. So I don't see it as being a big issue. As far as, you know, our staff, or this is not a heavy lift.
Lori, I think Lewis has a question.
Yeah, hey, thank you. I just want to clarify. So basically, the Fraser Valley Arts is going to make the town whole for salary and benefits. We're just providing administrative services. So what if it goes beyond 3 employees? Is that something that would have to be renegotiated, or are you planning on bringing on staff that would handle your own accounting and payroll and benefits?
Yeah, and Lori, if I may, yeah, that would, Lewis, that would exactly be my thinking is by then, you know, we'll have had a director and presumably several new staff members on board. We'll have an accountant, we'll have the ability to then negotiate a rate. And it would be likely to coincide with building the center where our staff is going to grow a little bit. So we'd want to have our own pay and benefits. If for some reason that this arrangement, you know, is something we still wanted to pursue, then we would come back to this body and request that. But it would be my intention to not need that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm a former chief HR officer, and I am very sympathetic to Lori's comments. So,
Any questions? I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
You need a motion?
Yep, we need a motion.
I can feel Eileen's question, but
I'll make a motion to approve Fraser Valley Arts Memorandum of Understanding for payroll and healthcare services coverage.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thanks.
Great.
thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Steve.
thank you very much, everyone,
Thank
and have
you.
a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Steve.
You too.
Cheers.
All right, moving on to Opportunity Zone.
Thank you,
Garrett.
Lori.
Good evening, Mayor and Trustees. Garrett Scott, Town Planner. I just have a brief presentation that mirrors the staff report within the packet. But this item relates to the Federal Opportunity Zone program and the potential designation of an opportunity zone within the town of Fraser. So staff has been made aware of this federal tax incentive program called Opportunity Zones. Essentially, the idea behind this incentive is to spur long-term investment in economically distressed communities. The program was originally created in 2017 under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in the first Trump administration. And the original geographic areas that were designated as opportunity zones and those tax benefits will sunset in 2028. However, with the passage of HR 1 last July, sometimes called the Big Beautiful Bill, this tax incentive program was made permanent, and it creates these 10-year cycles in which the geographic opportunity zone areas will be designated and redesignated into the future. As part of this federal program, it's actually administered by the states. So here in Colorado, OEDIT, or the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, is the state agency that assists with administering this program. So this map shows the census tracts in Southeast Grand County here in the Fraser Valley area. I show this map because one important aspect of it is that the geographic areas that can receive this designation are census tracts. So it's not based on the municipal boundary or a county boundary or something like that. It is census tracts. And in this area, Fraser is actually split between two, one on the east side of Highway 40 and one on the west side. So at this time, the federal government has not published an official list of which census tracts in every state in the country are eligible for this opportunity zone designation. However, some various entities, some economic consulting groups have published unofficial maps that utilize the data that the federal government will use kind of in anticipation of the official list. And as a correction to the staff report, it appears that there are no eligible census tracts in Grand County per the most recently published census data that this program will almost certainly be using. So what I mean by this, the map on the left uses census data that was published in January of 2025 last year. And that data showed that the census tract that covers the east side of Fraser would have likely been eligible. I believe just like a week or two ago, the census published the most current set of data called the American Community Survey. And per this data, no census tracts in Grand County appear to be eligible. So I know there's no county lines on the map to the right, but this is Jackson County up here, and this is the extreme west portion of Larimer County. You can kind of see the outline of northeast Grand County up here, and the Fraser Valley is down in this area. So it appears highly likely that census tracts in the Fraser area are not eligible for this program, but that is awaiting confirmation from the official list published by the federal government. I would say it's possible, but not very likely, that the federal government would use last year's data to determine eligibility, but I think it's almost certain that they'll use this year's. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So given that, really, that kind of shortened this discussion and presentation, but I think really the only input that staff is seeking at this time is whenever that official list is published, if there are eligible census tracts in Fraser, is this something that town staff should advocate for? The reason why this is asked is just because of the eligible census tracts within each state, only 25% of them actually get this designation. So it is a somewhat competitive process where, local governments, municipalities, and counties have to kind of advocate and lobby for this designation by the state. But again, it seems likely that we're not even eligible. So,
Gotcha. I mean, I think it's something that we could go for if somehow got it.
Given the opportunity, I think we should.
sure. Great. Well, I think whenever that official list is published, I will communicate that to you all, whether there are eligible tracks or not. If not, oh well, if there are, then we'll pursue it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you.
All right. Public Works drop attendant, Paul and Michael.
To Mayor, Board of Trustees, Paul Johnson, Public Works Director. Matter before you tonight is approval to change the currently budgeted drop part-time employee position to a full-time position that will not require a CDL or commercial driver's license for that position. Therefore, the automatic pay increase for obtaining a commercial driver's license would not apply to this position. Some background, since the opening of the drop in 2018, it has been operated by a part-time employee on Wednesdays and then on the weekends. The change to a full-time position will allow for additional street operations when not manning the drop. The drop position is currently unoccupied, and current street staff are manning the facility on a rotating basis in 2 shifts when it's open. The budget, this would change, the change to a full-time position would increase the budgeted amount of Fund 106110, which is the employee Public Works salaries by approximately $30,000 due to the increased 16 hours and then the added healthcare benefits that would be offered as a full-time position. The position has a tendency to wear the employee down over time. I think since 2018, we've gone through 3 employees, and all of them have mentioned the struggles of working there. There's the only bathroom is a porta potty on site. There's no water on site. It uses solar batteries to stay in charge, and then it just sort of wears on them to be there all the time by themselves. Last employee, I think, made it 6 months before we lost that employee. So the idea would be to have them, and talking with Jeff, the street superintendent, to have sort of a Wednesday through Sunday shift. So on those Thursdays and Fridays, they'd be doing street operations. So that either be in the side by side, helping with snow during the winter or helping with the gardening crew on those days. But then they're available for the weekend. And then on Wednesday, that's just a conversation with Jeff so that that position always has direct supervision from the street superintendent, since they don't have a CDL or more of a labor position. So staff is recommending moving the drop attendant position to a full-time position that will perform other street operator activities during the day and when on the days when not working at the drop. So we're just looking for board approval to do that. We do have at least one candidate who is interested, and we have another candidate who we'd interviewed right before we decided to pursue this to make it a more attractable position, and maybe keep somebody longer term, but also give them the benefits of having to work that position.
So you see this as one person, not a shared, 3 people get to share one day a week.
No, it's,
Well,
I think the continuity of having the same employee, there is the potential to maybe have them do the weekends and then try and fit the Wednesday through existing street staff. It would just require a change in operating hours. They only work till 4:30, drops open till 6. So it would mess with that normal workflow that they have for their families. But we can make that work, but I would like to see them at least work the weekend so it's consistent. And then the Wednesday we can work with, but this frees up them to do other work for us as well. So I was up there today and Ryan Turk was running it, and I got there at 10:05 and there was 5 cars in front of me, and it's just one of those things that it runs in really, really heavy shifts. And at Thanksgiving, it was overwhelming when Jeff was there after we lost the employee.
So right now you don't have an employee running
Right
the
now,
drop?
there is nobody. Right now, the drop is open by street staff. One street staff works the morning shift and somebody takes the evening shift on the weekends and on Wednesdays. So we're trying to rotate everybody through, but that generally costs me an operator. So if it were to snow on the weekend or a Saturday, right now I would be down a snowplow driver.
All right, well, let's do it then.
Lewis, you got a question?
Yeah, hey, Paul, so the commercial driver's license, what exactly does that entail? Whoever is driving the plow trucks, are they required to have a commercial driver's license or?
Yeah, so if they're driving the big plow trucks with the sand spreaders on the back, that requires a CDL. driving the loaders doesn't, but it's also an incentive for employees. If they get a CDL, they get an automatic pay raise. So this position would not be eligible for that.
So what would this person be doing when they're not at the drop?
So they'd be doing whatever street operator, what the street superintendent needed. So they could be driving a side by side that's normally used to clear the sidewalks on Highway 40, or just the things that we're normally doing that's not in a piece of heavy equipment.
So
Okay, so
basically, we're paying someone
there's
with a
enough
CDL to
work.
be there.
Right.
We're paying CDL drivers. As currently everybody in the street staff, but 2 have their CDL, and those 2 have their permits. They're waiting for testing. But right now we're paying a CDL driver to man the drop.
So there's enough work for this person to do when they're not at the drop.
Yes, in a typical snow season, yes, this year's been a little odd, but generally we have more work to do than we get to in those shifts. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it was going to be like one person on Wednesdays, one on Saturdays, one on Sundays.
I think we had originally talked about that, but in talking with Jeff, it really messes with the schedule of the 410s. That if they're working the one day, then when do they come in? When do they leave? Or do we pay them 2 hours of overtime because they're normally coming in at 6?
Gotcha. Yeah.
But it gives a variety to this employee that they're not just always at the drop, always having to deal with some of the situations that arise. So gives a change of pace.
Yeah.
There'll obviously be times when, they're going to go on vacation or, have sick leave or something like that they'll have to do and have cover down. So I think just having that flexibility to have that additional FTE, just it protects our ability to do the snow management operations plan and service all the streets that we have in town and not have to conflict with that if we have a major like snowstorm event.
Right.
Sounds good.
I like it.
Someone want to make a motion?
I think I made 2 or 3.
I know,
If somebody-
yes, there's
There's no.
just a briefing. It's not,
Staff briefing.
yeah, there's no.
But couldn't you say that?
I-
Yeah.
Just make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to approve the staff briefing drop attendant proposal to add a part-time employee,
To make it.
No,
to make it full-time,
That's a full-time.
part-time at the drop.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to updates. There's some committee minutes under there. People can take a look at if they'd like. Any other updates?
I've got one, Mr. Mayor.
Go for it.
We have Sarah let me know today, Sarah Catanzaro, our assistant town manager, let me know that we have formally been awarded the congressionally directed spending funds there. So we are going to get a formal application to fill out for the federal funds. This is for $2 million that will go towards phase 2 of St. Louis Landing. That is currently planned for 13 townhomes. So that $2 million will subsidize each townhome about $150,000. So it's gone through its, I believe its 4th and final round as far as getting to the final award point. So we'll be working with the some federal administrators for that funding mechanism, which is exciting. If you see Sarah, please give her a nice jumping high five.
All right, that's awesome.
That's great news.
That's great news. Got a girl, Sarah.
All right, any other updates? Can't think of any for me. Senator Bennett's visit was over 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Yeah. All right. Oh, we did go to cast.
Yeah, it was cast.
That cast was good.
That's good.
Yeah, good conversations. Good to hear from towns with similar issues. Talked through the missing middle piece, and we talked through when to do elections based on who votes in what years. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, just kind of general getting together with people. It was a good conference.
Nice.
Salida was a good host, and We skied at Monarch for a couple hours on Friday morning. So
All
that was fun.
right.
Anything else to add?
No, the school, they had a good presentation. Summit County Superintendent was there and sounds like they're doing some exciting things at the school, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I talked to Chris and she assures me that we're doing the same thing, so. Hopefully we are.
That was good. One of the presidents of Colorado Mountain College was there, and he was talking about the demographics of students. And he said, I'll paraphrase, but he said, COVID really made young people realize that adults don't know what the heck they're doing. So they're all seeking different paths for the future. So it's pretty funny.
So is their student population dropped, like
No, I think it's increased.
the age of people going back to school is increased, or just the overall?
I don't remember him saying anything about the age. It was just people looking for different ways to get educated and into the workforce.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it was neat.
Hmm.
Any other updates from staff? Okay. Well, we have an executive session on the table.
That's right.
Do we have the verbiage anywhere?
Who's got it?
Magic
Do you have the
paper.
language?
Let's cut the magic wig.
Yeah. Well, we will, oh, you got something?
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I make a motion to move to an executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to the matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategies for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6402-4E regarding joint facilities oversight committee agenda review.
And this will include Michael Brack and you, Paul, and anybody else? No?
No.
That's it.
Okay.
Second.
Right.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we will go into executive session. We will come out and immediately adjourn the meeting, so no need to stick around or continue recording, I guess, or being on YouTube, whatever. It's probably still recorded because we don't have an attorney here, so it'll be recorded in some sense. But
Sure, we're fine.
yeah, exactly. All right. I'll do the break.
Yeah.